Hello and welcome to the Grafton Group. Thank you for visiting our site and watching this video on background investigations. What we're going to cover is why most background investigations fail. I can tell you it's not often what you see that can hurt you, it's what's underneath we need to worry about. The Wall Street Journal recently published an article about how and why red flags are often missed in background investigations, and they highlighted several high-profile cases where HR managers found out they were not background investigators. And we also concluded that some private investigators are not seasoned enough to know the limitations of online searches in key databases that they may have privilege to. You will not likely find prior wrongdoing or acts concealed from the individual from an online source. So we put together 5 things to consider prior to hiring a background investigator and things for you to know. Let's start with number 1, the one-stop shopping source. A single source. Many firms rely on a single background source for information and will often simply cut and paste the information into a report and send it off to the client. But there are hundreds of data points that need to be researched and analyzed before a thorough report can be compiled. Manual research is often considered time-consuming and therefore overlooked by many investigators. But we feel that you need to physically retrieve records and verify everything on these reports. We utilize 3 different sources, and sometimes information will be found on one that is not found on the other. Therefore, we now need to go and verify that information. 2. Technology, overconfidence. Some have joked that Google is the cheap private investigator, or it is the cheaper private investigator. While Google has an enormous amount of information, even they admit it will take 300 plus years to index every bit of current information on the planet if they had access to it. And many of the sources that we have as private investigators, they do not have access to. Low budget background investigations. We have all heard it before. You get what you pay for. This is true and false all at the same time. If you want a $15 or $50 background investigation conducted, you can go ahead and do it. But do not expect the information to be solid. Save your money and find someone who really works in the information field. A good background investigation will cost anywhere from $175 to $250. This will, in my opinion, satisfy the needs of most private individuals. If you are doing due diligence for a new hire at your company, and this person coming in will have the keys to the kingdom, you can expect to pay $1,500 to $3,000 to find out what you need to meet the standard of care in protecting your company. In some cases, we have seen this go in excess of $5,000, only because there were numerous places the individual lived in their background. Every one of the locations had to be checked out, and various courtroom documents from many of the locations had to have an individual run down and physically retrieve that information. Skill, analysis, and tenacity. People looking for employment will often exaggerate some of their experience, but A skilled and tenacious private investigator will go the extra mile to confirm the information or disprove it. A recent client had someone who had changed their identity and adopted that of an NBA. Our investigator was able to spot this earlier on and save the client well over $1,500 in their bill because there was no need to continue on with the investigation. But the unknown question is, how much did the background save the company by getting it done properly in the first place? Number 5, a big loser, or the big loser. A recent call came in from a well-known organization, and we provided a comprehensive background. Unbeknownst to us, that person was hired prior to that, and the HR department had simply run a online background search from one of the nameless entities out there. After the company got the results back, they had spent close to $180,000 to move this new executive to Florida and set them up for the first year. 4 months into the job, this person was accused of sexual harassment by 3 separate complainants. The answer to your question is yes. The person did have a history of this behavior, which we uncovered from his 2 previous jobs. So, in conclusion, what we would look at is do it right the first time. Save the time, money, aggravation, and frustration. We have all done it before. We have latched onto a good deal and then later on had buyer's remorse. If we would have taken the time to do our research and not fall prey to our impulse to save a few dollars or to just get it done, we could have saved the expense, time, and aggravation of having to do this task all over again the right way. When it comes to background investigations, I cannot stress enough how important it is to do it right the first time. This is Tim O'Rourke. I want to thank you again for visiting the Grafton group, and we'll see you in another video soon.